7, to approve the recommendation of the county manager to appoint Melissa Palmer to the position of Mohave County Public Health Director effective June 29th, 2024, which is the beginning of pay period at range 29, step 9, or $117,832. And we do have a few people signed up. I think I missed Mr. Stang again. Greg Beffert for item 47.
Supervisors, for the record, Greg Beffert, and this goes to some of the things that I talked about earlier here today. I'm not here to judge the competency of the person that you're looking to put in this position. I'm not qualified to do that. But what I want to do is emphasize, before the selection is made here, is that we have the World Health Organization and the CDC pushing bird flu. Now, if you aren't aware, which you should be, that's the next big push here. So whether it's bird flu, whether it's a false flag in the Middle East, and we're being pushed into war, these appointments by these unelected bureaucrats are extremely important. And we went through the last one during COVID-19. We've gone through 2 health department, directors in the interim here. There's a lot of questions that need to be answered that we're not privy to. Supervisor Bishop said that mistakes were made. We did some good things, and there were some things that we wouldn't do again if we had to. Well, we don't know what those are. There's been no after-action review of your response during COVID-19. There's been no review of that. You're not holding yourselves accountable, which is why I'm up here. And there's a biological agent, a gene therapy masquerading as a vaccine that is on the children's schedule here in Mohave County. Why? Why? You voted not to fund it. Nice. That's good. You have the best of intentions, according to your statements. This is political posturing. You have a harm here in this county. And Supervisor Bishop said, well, we basically gave we're notifying them, we're telling the parents you don't have to give your kids shots. You don't have to give your kids shots before they go to school. We shouldn't have to tell parents that these are a danger. The government shouldn't get involved in that. Well, where was the government involvement when it comes to coercing people to take these things or lose your job? So which is it? It's these contradictions, and the hypocrisy that I'm talking about. So my point here is that before, again, probably a very competent lady. That is not what I'm here to address. I want to know what steps you're going to take to fix the problems that you created last time with this bureaucracy. You had no authority to do what you did. Let's just get it out there. You had none. Governor had none. President had none. Fake authority. Proclamations. Executive orders. There was no law. There was no legal basis for any of it, and you know it now. So what do you intend to do? What is the new second in command during COVID-19 going to do?
Thank you very much, Mr. Beffert. Jennifer Esposito.
Thank you, Jennifer Esposito, back again. Again, I'm not here to disparage the person that you are considering here today. However, I would just like to say that I think that a position this important and, as we've discovered, this powerful is something that really should be put out for requests for qualifications. During Supervisor Bishop's COVID reign of tyranny, we had a health director who was not able to even answer your most basic questions, had to keep saying, I need to get back to you on that, let me take that under advisement kind of stuff. Then we hired someone who actually did have a medical degree, which was nice, but that didn't work out well either. But because of the influence of organizations like the WHO, the CDC, and things, I think that before we even contemplate hiring someone for this positions, as I've previously stated, I think this board needs to define powers and duties of the position so that in the event that we have another emergency, legitimate or not, that the board is the one who has set the powers that this person will hold. I think we're kind of putting the cart before the horse. Also, Mohave County has a bad habit of just playing musical chairs with employees and not looking for maybe the best possible person for the job. Not, oh, we'll just slide this person from this department up, the ladder a rung, or we'll take this person from this department and put them over there where there's an opening. And, maybe we can find someone who will be the right fit for Mohave County. And if this person is the right fit, that's fine, but without putting it out for an RFQ or whatever the current term is that the county uses, I just think that it's maybe a little too soon to make that decision, and I would like you to really sit down and think about what the powers and duties are of the person you're putting in this position before you even decide who you're going to put in it, so that we don't have a repeat of the horrific mistakes we had just a few years ago. The fact that we had somebody that the public had to come in and basically give a nickname to, we don't want to go there again. Really, we don't. And it was such a mess that it really caused a large influx of residents to come and chew up this board's time in opposition to the person who held that position in the past. So we want someone who's not going to be controversial. We want someone who's going to be on board with our ethics and our belief in freedom and personal choice. And I would just hope that you would maybe table this decision and put it out and see if you can find someone else. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are we actually approving your choice, or are we approving the salary?
Madam Chair, Supervisor Gould, thank you for that clarification. It is my understanding, it's my job to recommend to the board, and the board approves the salary. Thank you for clarification.
That's a point, yeah.
Well, it says that, but that doesn't make
That's
it
it.
reality.
Okay.
And I know sometimes we had some conversations over whether we're approving the choice or approving the salary. Does the health department director have any power that does not flow from the Board of Supervisors? I do not believe that they do.
Madam Chair and Supervisor Gould, no, thank you. And indeed, the public health director, no more than the public works director, no more than development services, the job duties and functions are established for that position and approved by the board. And as you know, any decisions the department take on comes before the board for approval before we move ahead with it. So their power is allocated or designated or given to them by the Board of Supervisors.
So the decisions made by the health director during the so-called pandemic were the health director carrying out the wishes of a majority of the board. Do you not believe that she was carrying out her own wishes?
Mr. Chairman, Madam Chair, and Supervisor Gould, you're absolutely right. You were here, and if you recall, during that ugly period, the board met twice a week for the public health director and myself to update the board on what was coming through. There were a lot of uncertainties at that time. Not every question had an answer, but we communicated with the board frequently, and the decisions that the public health director carried forward were made at the board level, and the public health director and the department, including myself and other departments, carried them forward.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chairman.
Okay, any other questions? Supervisor Bishop?
I just wanted to make a comment in regards to what Mr. Bedford suggested, that we do a post-COVID review. I know that's not on the agenda, but I'd like to see that on a future agenda. Maybe Ms. Palmer, if she's approved by this board, along with the county attorney's office, could do some kind of a post-COVID review what did we do right, what did we do wrong, and under what authority. I would love to see this finally put together in a document and put at rest. And with that, I'll make a recommendation that we approve Ms. Palmer as our new public health director, effective June 29th, 2024, at the range of 29, step 9.
Second, I have some comments, Madam Chair.
Go ahead, Supervisor Johnson.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and this is for our attorney. Am I misguided in the fact that we have no say over what was really done during COVID? This was passed down by the feds and the state. We're an arm of the state. We can only do what they tell us we can do. So we're kind of acting like we had a say. Is that correct, Mr. Esposito?
Chairman Angus, Supervisor Johnson, it's a complicated question. Or a complicated answer. During the COVID emergency, there was a number of proclamations that were issued from the governor, for example, that we had no choice but we had to follow. The state law required us to follow those, and we followed those. And I can go into a lot of details about that, but I don't know if that's necessarily the time right now to do this. It's not on the agenda to go into detail with that. I do want to circle back, though, real quick with one of the questions that was asked, and just to clarify about the duties and responsibilities of the public health director. It's absolutely correct. The public health director answers to the county manager, just like you guys described. The county manager answers to the board of supervisors. But there are some, just so that we're clear, there are some statutory roles and responsibilities that the public health director has. Those are in Title 36. Those are things that the public health director can do outside of what the board here says, or the county manager says. Specifically, just looking at so this is Title 36, Chapter 1, Article 4. They talk about local health departments. And there's also agreements that the county has entered into, approved by the board, that give the health director authority to enforce some state laws and things from the State Department of Health. So I just want to make sure that the board is aware of that there are those things that take place. But of course, the public health director, again, answers to the county manager then answers to the board of supervisors. So there's still that oversight of what they're doing. But just to be clear, the statutes do give the authorization for things like health inspections, notice of violations when there's unsanitary premises and things like that. So just so you're aware of that.
Okay. Does that answer your question, Supervisor Johnson?
I guess a little bit it answers it, but a lot of people are putting pressure on the board, saying the board had all this authority. The board had no authority. It could have been changed by the governor, who was a Republican, or the legislature, Republicans, and given us the direction. That's all. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Well, maybe this is why we should put it on a future agenda, so there seems to still be confusion going on, so we'll leave it at that. Yes.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I might remind the board that the majority of the board, excluding me, voted to accept the governor's money to enforce his rules. I don't believe that we were legally bound to do that. If the governor, he has his own police force, it's called the Department of Public Safety. If he wanted to enforce his rules, he could have sent DPS up here to enforce his rules.
Yeah, exactly. This is not really on the agenda now. Okay, so where are we? We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on that? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.